You're listening to theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
It's a magazine.
No, it's a podzine.
Welcome back to this fourth and final podzine from the Outdoor Show 2007. One of the strange things about the show, often commented upon by first-time visitors, is how difficult it is to get your hands on the kit that you've seen on the manufacturer's stands. Many manufacturers are simply showcasing the gear ranges that they'll be introducing later during the year, while others are focusing on clearing surplus stock from last year's catalogue, and to be fair, they provide one or two tasty bargains to show goers in the process. But there are one or two honourable exceptions. Paramo had their full range at the show, and we featured them during the first podzine, and Rab were another company out in force. Declan from Rab took me through their current range.
A number of the items we've got on the showcase here are new for next winter, so we're using that as a launch, if you like, for some of the new items, as well as coupling that with the existing range.
Okay, so what have we got?
We've actually got a layering theme going on, so we're showing that Rab isn't just down equipment, which is one view of the brand, so it's just showing the full range and how you can use that. So, you know, you can use the gear for mountain biking. Here we've got the new Power Stretch thermal pants and the VR stretch top.
Now they feel absolutely gorgeous, don't they? That's the VR, that's the Vaporize.
Vaporize, yeah, this is the redesigned top, so it's the stretch top. You've got the Power Stretch panels for an increased fit on the body, and also down the arms with the thumb loops.
It's a very attractive garment, that.
It is,
again,
yes.
You know, like
that's brand new this spring.
Yeah, like the Power Stretch, that feels good as well. Yeah. And the top layer is.
And then we've also got, this will be new for next winter, it's the Generator Vest. The Generator Smock has done extremely well for us this winter, and this is just extending that range, just to give it a bit more versatility, if you like.
Now, just to explain what this is like, this is it's got slight insulation fill, hasn't it? Synthetic insulation.
That's right. So 100 gram Primaloft synthetic insulation. So it's pretty warm.
Cope with the rain as well.
Yes, it's the Primaloft is actually individually coated to be waterproof, so it doesn't get affected in the same way that down does by water. And then we've got extremely lightweight Pertex Quantum fabric on the inner and outer. That's wind resistant fabric, so it'll stop the wind cutting through. And obviously just makes the item extremely lightweight, as light as it can be. And
it looks very well made and quite durable. That looks to me as if it's a winner, I have to say.
Yeah.
What else have you got?
Moving along, we've got, this is the layering system we recommend for summer hill walking. On the bottom we've just got event trousers, waterproof trousers. This is the Bergen pants. It's just a basic waterproof trouser with 3/4 length zip.
And that's an over trouser, yeah?
That's right, yeah. We've got an over trouser, and then underneath that we've got the Trek Light pant, which is just a slightly stretchy soft shell, just for keep out the wind, etc. Nice and functional and manoeuvrable. Again, we've got the Generator Vest on the top there. This is the Ghost jacket, which is a wind resistant fleece with quite a nice technical cut. We've got a chest pocket here and two hand warmer pockets.
And again, that's quite light, isn't it? It's nowhere near as bulky as, say, Windstopper.
No, it's it isn't. It's important, I suppose, to point out that it isn't windproof, but wind resistant. But we prefer the versatility of that because it's more breathable, basically. With a fully windproof item, you've got a membrane in there to stop the sweat being able to get out.
So again, this is the point of the layering system getting that right, is it's a combination of all of them gives you your waterproofing and your windproofing, but actually when we're looking for maximum comfort most of the time, in the summer, we don't need overkill, do we?
That's right, yeah. And I mean, if the wind does pick up, you've got your event jacket, lightweight Trillium jacket there, which even if it's not, if the wind is picking up, then you can use that as a windproof. And obviously it's there as well in case it rains.
And the Trillium jacket looks quite an interesting piece of kit, and that weighs about how much for a large size?
The large size, I believe, would be about 380 grams. The medium, I know, is 350.
So that's not bad. That's pretty light.
Pretty lightweight.
Yeah. And reasonably durable as well, I guess.
It's reasonably durable. I'll move on. I'll jump on to a new item for this spring, which is the Super Drew, which is the same lightweight event, but coupled with a ripstop version on high wear areas across the shoulders, down the arms, and on the seat. This for the medium comes in at 400 grams. So that just offers you that bit more durability, as well as the lightweight. It's also longer in the body. The Trillium's quite short, so there's a couple of varieties there.
And again, you're using the event fabric quite exclusively now, aren't you?
There are a few other. We don't use any other waterproof fabrics. There are a few other companies that are now moving into event for its breathability properties, which are far away and above any other waterproof fabric.
Good. Anything else?
Also, I suppose a note on the women's ranges. We're increasing the amount of garments that we're making specifically for the women's market.
Now that seems to be a trend. A few of the manufacturers have said to me, "Yeah, this year we're going to get much more to women's trends." And that's because there are more women on the hills, or are they just becoming more assertive in terms of wanting something that's cut particularly for them?
I think it's a little of both. It is an increasing area, women in the outdoors. But also, as you say, it is just that they're getting a bit fed up with having to make do with a man's fit or a unisex fit, if you like. So.
So this jacket we've got here, is that the equivalent of the Trillium?
This is the women's Latoc Alpine. Yeah. So it is everything that the normal Latoc Alpine has. It's just fitted differently, and we've got some nice different colours in there. Just to, it looks great. To be fair, even if I do say so myself.
Now, I guess we mustn't forget the down products, because they're pretty good. I mean, I've had a Quantum 400 sleeping bag for a long time. It's served me well. But the sleeping bag range is doing well, yeah?
It certainly is, yeah. The Quantum range, as you say, is probably one of our flagship sleeping bags, using all the lightest weight products we can. Also, the Summit range is doing particularly well in the sort of more hardier and the more extreme ends of the market.
The two ranges that are getting a lot of attention that people may still not have seen out that often are the Vapor Rays and the Generator Smog. So explain the thinking behind those, because they're both quite exciting products.
The Vaporized range is quite a simple premise, really. It's Pertex Equilibrium outer, which actually works on a denier gradient to push water to the outside, so sweat from the inside is forced out. Also helped by the wicking fleece liner, which obviously keeps you very warm. The Equilibrium is also windproof and water resistant, so you get very good weatherproofing and warmth in one item. There's three different versions in the Vaporized range. There's the base model, which is the stretch top. Then there's the Smock, which offers a kangaroo pocket, a simple tab down hood, and then there's the jacket, which is more for walkers. It's got two hand warmer pockets, full length zip obviously, and then a fold away hood.
And the Generator is not dissimilar, but that's got an insulated filler.
That's correct. Yeah, the Generator Smock, which we've had out this winter, is completely sold out already. It's done fantastically for us. Again, using a Pertex Quantum fabric, which we use in most of our down products. It's the lightest weight fabric that we use. and again with the Primaloft, which gives great warmth, but is also extremely packable and water resistant. The generator, if you like, would be better than the Vaporizer in terms of its packability and weight. But if you're more active, you're less likely to want the generator. The generator is more something you'll throw on over the top when you're at rest and you're cooling down, basically.
Well, thanks very much for that, Declan. Rab get the outdoor station, one of the outdoor station special awards, I think, for this show, because actually you can buy this stuff in stands around the show.
That's correct,
and
yes.
Very few of the manufacturers seem to have actually been selling their up-to-date kit, so well done.
No, thank you very much. I'm glad that we've been able to provide you with some interesting gear.
Cheers. Now, we gave away some tickets to the outdoor show, and one of the lucky prize winners is with me, which is Colin. Colin, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, this is your first time to the outdoor show, isn't it? And I know there's a lot of people who say, oh, we must get down to Birmingham one year, but maybe can't quite get down. What have you thought about it so far?
Probably like most shows, it's hard to get your head around the bearings where everything is, and then it's just doing your plan first, looking at the map where everything is, get some things out of the way, and then plan around the shows. And then, like now, it's getting a bit quieter, so it's getting easier to get around. From about probably 10 o'clock to about probably 1:30, it was quite busy. You couldn't get past any of the stalls. It was like a rucksack being thrown in your face, or someone steps into you. But now it's getting a little bit quieter, so I'm enjoying it. It's for the first time.
So get here early and do your planning.
That's it.
And I mean, what are the best bits for you so far? I mean, what's really capturing your imagination?
Mainly the travel side, all the different travel companies. Like we go to Ireland, so we've been to the Ireland one. We've looked at all the other, like the Ramblers, the Active Venture travel companies, getting ideas really. We may not use them, we may do it ourselves independently, but you get good ideas off the routes and that where you can go. And then looking at the idea of doing of walking across Scotland. I've got the idea from Bob doing the TGO challenges, but I haven't got a sleeping bag. That's decent. I haven't got a tent. The tent's a car one, so
there's a lot of gear to buy. We'll come back to gear in a minute.
Yeah.
You've been having a look at some of the lectures, which I often think are the very best bit of the show.
Yes, we planned around some of the lectures. We want to go see Kev Reynolds because we've done two of his books, the Tour Mont Blanc and the Hort route from Chamonix to Zermatt, and we found them quite good. Last year we did the Stu Bayer out, and it was disappointing. It wasn't written by him, the book, and it wasn't as good. And it was quite nice to go and meet, not just go and see his face and see who put a name behind the face and that. And hopefully we may see him later on this Civrone press book. We've not been there yet, so we've got to go and have a look.
Yeah, he's a very approachable guy, Kev, and he'll have a chat to you, and if you buy a book, he'll sign it. And this afternoon you're off to do a few more. Yeah,
we're going to see Alan Hinks. We've seen his talks before, and we've enjoyed them when he's come up to Manchester and that, after he's done all his different 14 peaks. So we're going to see him again because you always get a good laugh with him. So after an hour or two round here, to get cheered up again, go and see Alan and see how tight he is because of the Yorkshireman.
He certainly is. I've been trying to get to talk to him today, and I've collared him twice in the press office, but he's, I might see you later. He's a difficult man to pin down.
Yeah. And the other person who may be nice is just see Paddy Dillon. Not seen him yet. I know he's around here.
Well, Paddy's certainly around, and he's not working today. He's often on the Cicerone stand as well. But just be warned, Paddy can talk for England. You'll not get away from Paddy very quickly.
So no, because we've done quite a bit in like cycling in Ireland. We've done a little bit of walking in Northern Ireland. So we do a mixture between walking and cycling. So we are come down here really to plan the walk for the cycling trip that we're doing really.
We did a podcast with Paddy about walking in Ireland a couple of months ago. It's a fantastic walking country, isn't it? Both low level and high level. And very quiet, very underexploited by walkers.
Yeah, because I actually work in Northern Ireland, and I go there about five times a year, week at a time, and all I've done is the Causeway coast, and giant causeway around there. And just in October last year, I nicked up on the way down to Dublin, up on the Mourns. Didn't see much with the weather, but it was nice to get up there.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Scotland, I think. It's just as dramatically good, and certainly if you go out into the west coast and the Mayo area, places like that, it's very wild. You don't meet many people on those hills.
No, but the day I went up on the Mourns, there was quite a few. There were people coming up from Dublin for the day, and they were very chatty. You don't always get it in England or Scotland, but the Irish, they do chat. And they do chat for a long time as well.
And then, of course, the other great thing about walking and cycling in Ireland are the B&Bs and the landladies, aren't they? Difficult to make an early start in the morning.
It's true about that, yeah. And you get good food as well, with the Ulster fries, and they make sure that you are fed. I mean, when a few years back, our walking group went to Northern Ireland, and the food, they couldn't eat a 3-course meal at night. 2 courses was enough. And potatoes were just piled up, and once you got the Guinness, that's like another course. But you always got to save for that one.
I think it's difficult to do an active holiday in Ireland and still lose weight at the end of it. Right. So you're going off to see Alan Hinkes in a bit. You've been looking at gear, obviously. I'm not that impressed with what's on offer, really, in terms of gear shops. I find it quite difficult to actually buy something.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually bought some walking poles this morning from Altkit. I was looking at them because the ones I've had the cheap ones over the years, and every time I keep bending them. So they had an offer on, so I bought a pair of the carbon ones. And then I've been looking at the sleeping bags, the Pipe Dream, because the idea maybe next year or the year after to do some sort of backpacking, and then need to buy 10 as well. So they were quite helpful. So I've been looking at other stands, but there's nothing yet caught my eye. And usually you've got to rumble through, and it's hard to buy anything on the stand because you don't know what is best until you go away with it. There's offers, but sometimes an offer you can buy something wrong. So I think it's always best to have a look and don't take the offer up, maybe. Only if there's a good offer, you know what you're looking for. I mean, everything I'm looking at is still new to me about the sleeping bags and tents. And I keep listening to Bob and see what he's talking to people, trying to get ideas, really.
Yeah, well, Altkit are one of the few companies here who are seriously bringing their new kit along and selling it, so they get a gold star from us, I think, on the show. Well, Colin, I won't hold you back any longer. Go and enjoy yourself. Good to meet you, and I'm glad to see the free tickets being put to good use. Now, any of us who are into hill walking, whether it's in Britain, particularly Scotland, or on the continent, know how difficult it can be living with insects. Midges, and I got absolutely bitten to shreds last summer in the Knoydart. Summer before, got absolutely bitten to shreds at lower levels by mosquitos in the south of France. I don't know about you, but I always worry a little bit about carrying products that have got DEET in them. And I found a store here today called Agrofarm, which I've read about and heard about in walking magazines before, and they produce a more natural insect deterrent. And I'm talking to Jeff Foxham from the company here. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you very much. It's nice to talk to you.
Now, I suppose the first thing to just check is that although these are more natural products and they don't have DEET in them, they are effective, aren't they?
Well, that's the first question everybody wants to know, and yes, they are effective. And I suppose the best answer to that is, do I use it myself? And I do. When I go to Nigeria, where you're likely to get bitten by a malarial mosquito, you don't want to take any risks with things like that. So I use Prevent, which is our natural, organic product for all walkers and people who are in the outdoor life. So we have been working with this product for a number of years now, and we've been coming to shows like we're at today, the outdoor show. And I always think the best feedback you can get is from people who've actually been using the product out in the real world. Never mind about laboratory tests, which we have done. The real world is what counts best. And we're finding that our product, which is a natural insecticide from the African chrysanthemums, is very good because it's not just a repellent, it will also stop insects biting. It's a natural insecticide which inhibits the biting mechanism of an insect. And thirdly, for campers, it's a boon because they can spray it in their tent at night and it will kill any mozzies that are lurking there waiting to bite them in the night. And I don't know about you, but for me, the worst thing you can hear is when your head has touched the pillow. It's the little zzz that that you hear when the lights have just gone out.
Yeah, when you're stuck in the Scottish Highlands in the middle of summer, it's amazing the noise those things can make, isn't it?
It certainly is, and this is a way of protecting yourself at night. It's still working for you while you're actually asleep.
Good. So I hadn't appreciated that before, but this is something that actually stops them from biting you as well as just flocking around.
And that's absolutely true, because it is a natural insecticide, and the physiological mechanism of insects biting you is very complex. And this insecticide interferes with that biting mechanism. They physically can't stick their proboscis into you, have their meal, or chunk through your skin. So that's the way it actually works. It's 3 levels of protection: the repellency, the anti-bite action, and then the killing of them while you're asleep.
Sounds perfect. Now, there's obviously spray. You talked about spraying in the tents, and there are also some wipes as well there, I see. And if we were on a walking holiday in let's say, Scotland, you'd apply this stuff before you left, obviously, and spray it all over. Any particular areas of the body that you have to be careful with in applying this, or?
Well, you should apply it to any exposed areas of skin. The only area that you really have to take care of is your face. So you wouldn't spray this directly on your face, because it might go in your eye. So you should spray it on your hands and then wipe it on your face. And that way you avoid getting any direct in your eye. But it's not going to cause you any skin problems like the DEETs do, nor is it going to dissolve any of your plastics. So it is very, very gentle, as well as being a strong and effective insecticide and insect repellent.
Okay, so apply liberally. Don't forget to spray beneath your socks as well, I think, is something I've always discovered over the years. It's amazing where they can get, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. You might be interested to know that Agrofarm really developed this product as a pest control company, and we've developed it for people who are going to inspect houses that are infested with fleas. So they would actually spray their clothing and especially their socks to stop them getting bitten by the fleas when they walked into the place. But over the last 5 years, we've been taking this out to the outdoor markets and finding it's extremely effective against all biting insects, even things like ticks when you're walking through forests and what have you.
Oh, that's important, because ticks are seemingly on the rise, aren't they?
Yes, and I noticed there's a stall here today about ticks and alerting people to the problem of Lyme's disease and how easy it is to actually get bitten by a tick and how to deal with it if you do. So Prevent is a very, very good, effective product in that sort of market as well.
Okay, so this is something we should certainly be seriously looking at if we're heading out to the hills this year. So, Jeff, thanks very much for that. And this is a natural project, just to recap. It doesn't involve any of those nasty chemicals like DEET.
No, it doesn't involve any DEET or any other synthetic product. It is an organic product. We buy the flowers, supervise the extraction of those and the purification of that material that goes into this product. We've even introduced now a pump spray and a wipe. We have had the aerosol before that, but some people are more concerned now about the environmental effects of aerosols, so we have offered now a pump spray to get around that particular problem as well.
Okay, and it comes in quite a handy size that you could easily slip into your rucksack, and the packets of wipes are in normal sized wipe-sized packets. So all in all, very convenient. Jeff, thanks very much, and
It's my pleasure.
much success.
Thank you very much.
You know, the first of our book club podcasts we did was with Kev Reynolds, and it's proved to be very, very popular. And I've just followed Kev on the Cicerone stand to just catch up with him. What have you been up to since last summer when we last talked?
Well, I had a fantastic few days in the Pyrenees in June where I was a guest of the Mayor of Gavarnie for a big celebration, and that was just stunning. I found I was the only Englishman amongst 200 French and Spaniards, and it was just an amazing weekend right there in Gavarnie, just discussing the joys of mountains, and just being there was great. And then I went off and spent some time with the Revere twins, who are probably the greatest climbers ever to be active in the Pyrenees. And I hope to be out back in the Pyrenees with them again in June, because there's a film going to be made about their lives, and I've been asked to take part in that, so that should be fun.
How old are they?
They're 73, and they've just celebrated 60 years of top-grade climbing, so they started very young.
It's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive, and they're wonderful. They're almost like Pyrenean royalty. It was amazing sitting having a cup of coffee with them in the main street in Governey. People were coming out of their houses and hotels, going up to them, embracing them and saying how great it was to see them again. And it was just a sense of, royalty, being amongst royalty.
Because we forget, don't we, that Governey was only relatively recently discovered, isn't it?
Not really. No, I should say 200 years.
Well,
probably.
That's relative.
Yeah, I thought you meant. Yeah, that's relatively recently discovered. Yeah. Some people have called it the Chamonix of the Pyrenees, but it's hardly that.
Blackpool, I think.
It's a crappy little village, to be quite honest, full of mule dung. But
you once said that even a blind person could find their way to the Cirque by smelling the roots of the donkeys. It really is like that, isn't it? It's an extraordinary place.
Yeah, but just as nightfall is coming, of course they sweep the streets, and so it's okay. After dark, it's great.
You've got the place to yourself.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's all right. And to sit outside your tent, just on the edge of Governey, and see a big moon come up over the city of Governey is one of life's great experiences. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So after the Pyrenees?
Yeah, after the Pyrenees, I rewalked Chamonix to Zermatt again, across the mountains on my own, and I had a very interesting experience on day 3. It started to rain about 11:30 in the morning, and I thought, if I wait until I'm really hungry to eat, it's going to be peeing down so hard that I won't want to stop. So I thought, I'll have an early lunch. So I sat on this rock. I was miles from anywhere, all on my own. Sat on a rock, got out my 3-day-old French bread and my very sharp Swiss Army knife. As a result of which, I went right through the bread and right down one of my fingers, down to the bone. And it took me 6.5 hours to get to a doctor to get it sewn up. So there's a new waymarked route across the Alps. But this year I'm going back with a white paintbrush to put the white there's plenty of red ones.
It's got one of those things with the crosses on it, and a knife.
Not this way.
Don't use your knife here.
So when I went back to the Alps a few weeks later with my wife to rewalk the Tour de Mont Blanc for a guide, to update my guide, she would not allow me anywhere near a knife when it came to cutting bread for lunch. But we had a very interesting experience for anybody who knows the Tour de Mont Blanc. You got this fabulous hut, the Refugio Bonatti on the Italian side, and we were sitting in the hut there that evening having our meal. We were at a large table where the Guardian had put a number of us together. There were 2 Australians, 2 Belgians who spoke perfect English, a couple of Canadians, and the rest were English and ourselves. And there was no less than 6 copies of my guidebook on the table. And, you're just introducing each other, but it's only first names, and they're all discussing the guide over dinner.
That's a bit crafty, you should have declared your interest.
But what can you say? I mean, you can't suddenly say, I'm the guy who wrote it. I mean, it's a bit, brazen, isn't it? So anyway...
Paddy would have said that.
Paddy, yeah, but I wouldn't. 3 days later, we're on the Swiss side, and we stopped in a little meadow to change a film in the camera. And along came one of the guys who was sitting next to me at the table. And he stopped me. We just talked a little bit about the weather and things, and then he said, do you know Shakespeare's Henry V? And I said, yeah. He said, do you remember that scene the night before Agincourt when Henry is in disguise and he's walking around the camp of his soldiers listening to what they're saying about him? And I said, yeah. He said, you're Henry V.
So, royalty now as well.
Well, yes. I've gone up market a bit now. Just call me Henry in future.
And so what's in store for the rest of this summer?
Back to the Pyrenees in June for this filming about the Revere twins, and then I'm spending a month or so in Austria. I'm doing a guidebook to the Austrian Alps, and then I'm going down to the Écrins to update my guide to the Écrins National Park, and then doing the Tour of the Oisans for a guide. Then I've got to go to Toulouse at the beginning of October for a 4-day mountain literature conference at the university there. I'm speaking. And then I'm back for 2 days and then off to the Himalaya to lead a trek to Kanchenjunga. Apart from that, not a lot.
Oh, I know there's a lot of people very, very envious out there.
Yeah, but there's no holiday for me, you realise.
Now, the last time we spoke, you said one of your dream treks would be to go and explore Alaska. Is that getting any closer?
Well, the dreams are still there, but I can't see it coming off just yet. But I'll have to have a word with Jonathan, the boss man of Cicerone, and see if he needs a guide to Alaska, and if so, would he like to pay some money up front?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just grab a few punters off the street here and say to them, go to that guy there and say to him, have you got anything on Alaska?
Yeah, do that, would you? Yeah. You can have 10%.
Kev, it's as good talking to you as ever. Thanks very much,
Nice to
and
see
good
you.
luck for the summer.
Cheers, all the best.
The evergreen Kev Reynolds there, as enthusiastic as ever about the world's great mountain ranges. That brings us to the end of our fourth and final Podzine from the Outdoor Show 2007, but we're not quite finished yet. During the show, I took the opportunity of having extended conversations with Paddy Dillon, who talks about his life as a guidebook writer and walker, and also to Ronald Turnbull, who talks about his wonderfully entertaining new book, 3 Peaks and 10 Tours. Both of these interviews will be available shortly on the Outdoor Station. Until then, I'm Andy Howell. Take care and happy hiking.
This independent programme is produced and hosted by theoutdoorstation.co.uk.